My wife had given my VP office to Gavin Pierce, the new intern. Gavin posted photos of the office on social media with the caption, "Grateful for Ms. Moore's trust and mentorship. I'll work hard to live up to this opportunity." My assistant sent me the screenshot. In the photos, the entire layout had been rearranged, and every one of my awards was gone. I forwarded it directly to Scarlett Moore. "What is this about? Ms. Moore. Why is some intern occupying my private office?" Scarlett replied with a voice note, slurring slightly, "Been drinking. Honey. It's just an office. It's not like you're using it right now anyway. I want everything back exactly where it was." 10 minutes. Scarlett didn't respond. 2 minutes later. Moore Industries' most critical contract was forced to a halt. If someone wanted to test my authority, I had no problem letting Moore Industries go under. Scarlett called again and again, one call after another. I picked up on the fifth. Her roar blasted through the receiver. "Liam Hale. Are you insane? That's a $200 million project. You know the product launch is next week. Pulling the plug now will destroy the company. Over an office. Really? 5 years of marriage." And this was the first time she'd ever yelled at me for another man. I sipped my whiskey, feeling the liquid burn down my throat. A coldness spreading through my chest. "It's not about the office. Scarlett. Put my office back exactly as it was, every single medal. Every position. Or the company stands to lose a lot more." Silence on the other end. For several seconds. "You have 5 minutes now." I said it coldly and hung up. 2 minutes later. She sent photos of the restored office. Everything was back in place. As soon as I received them, I contacted the project lead and revoked the shutdown order. Then I sent Scarlett a different photo. It showed her study completely emptied out, including that priceless antique she'd just won at auction. Her favorite piece. I attached a second photo, the antique shattered on the floor. Fragments everywhere. "That's your punishment. Scarlett. You know how I am. Don't let it happen again." Scarlett didn't respond. I knew she was furious. But I was angrier. Our marriage had started as a strategic alliance between two families. 5 years ago. She needed Hale Corporation's overseas distribution channels. And I needed Moore Industries' domestic manufacturing base. A business marriage made perfect sense. No grand romance, just mutual benefit. A rational choice. "Liam. We won't just support each other in business. I'll trust you and respect you. Always." Before the wedding, Scarlett had held my hand. Her gaze steady and sincere. "I appreciate your honesty, Ms. Moore. I look forward to our partnership." I'd smiled back. 5 years. We'd gone from strangers to acquaintances. From mutual respect to reliance. And eventually tenderness. And love. We'd shared countless nights leaning on each other after endless business dinners. This year, we'd finally had a baby. The best proof of our love. Or so I'd thought. I'd believed our bond was unbreakable. But now, Gavin Pierce had shattered every bit of trust and understanding we'd built. Scarlett didn't come home that night. I knew she was expressing her anger that way. The next morning, I removed the bandage from my leg and went straight to the office. Employees looked up in surprise when they saw me, then quickly lowered their heads in greeting. "Mr. Hale. I thought you were still recovering from surgery. What are you doing here today?" The young receptionist stepped forward. Concerned. "Something I need to handle personally." I nodded briefly and headed for the executive floor. But the moment the elevator doors opened, I heard laughter coming from Scarlett's office. Through the half-open door, I saw Gavin sitting right beside her. Scarlett was smiling, warm, soft. Nothing like the cold, reserved woman she was with every other secretary. Before, she'd never let anyone sit in her office for long except me. She'd never looked at anyone else like that. Now she and Gavin were sitting so close there was barely space between them. Talking like old friends. Gavin was wearing a high-end designer suit. The exact one I'd had my eye on. The one Scarlett had mentioned buying for me. It wasn't just expensive, it was limited edition. Only 5 in the entire world. And now it was on an intern. I pushed the door open. THEIR laughter died instantly. The smile froze on Scarlett's face. "What are you doing here?" Gavin stood up quickly, putting on a respectful expression and greeting me softly. "Good morning, Mr. Hale. I heard you just had surgery. You should be resting at home." What brings you in so suddenly? I laughed coldly. Who gave you permission to comment on my affairs? Which idiot hired someone with so little respect for boundaries? Gavin's smile stiffened. He opened his mouth. Speechless. Take off that suit. Now. The temperature in the room dropped to freezing. Gavin's eyes went wide. His lips trembled. He looked utterly stunned. He glanced at Scarlett, pleading in his eyes. I turned to Scarlett too. My gaze like ice. Explain. Why is my suit on him? Scarlett frowned. Impatient. People were talking about Gavin after the office incident yesterday. I wanted to make it up to him somehow. It's just a suit. I'll buy you a nicer one later. Make it up to him. I laughed again. Bitter. This suit isn't a big deal to either of us. But it's a limited edition 5 in the world. Custom made. Who does Gavin Pierce think he is? That he deserves to wear it. Besides, he brought yesterday on himself. He didn't know his place. Scarlett, have you forgotten who you are? Have you forgotten who I am? Who gave you the right to give away my things? Gavin had gone pale. He stammered. I'm sorry. Mr. Hale. I had no idea the suit was yours. Then take it off. Now you know. Scarlett snapped when I cut him off. Liam Hale. That's enough. We have a meeting to get to. Stop making a scene. Something sank in my chest. She'd never raised her voice at me in the office before. Now she was breaking her own rules for Gavin. Beside her, Gavin visibly relaxed. Seeing Scarlett defend him. Meeting. What meeting? The Atlas Group partnership. Gavin and I were just leaving. Scarlett adjusted her cuffs. Her voice sharper than ever. Gavin's been instrumental in this deal. That's why I'm bringing him along. I raised an eyebrow and smiled. Mocking. Oh. I wasn't aware an intern had that kind of pull that he can influence decisions at a public company now. Scarlett's face darkened. She grabbed her bag and told Gavin to follow. Come on. We're wasting time. As they walked past me, Gavin flashed me a smug smile, pure defiance in his eyes. Scarlett Moore. You asked for this. If you were going to keep defending Gavin Pierce, then don't blame me for what comes next. After they left, I pulled out my phone and dialed the Atlas Group chairman's private line. Chairman Grant. Liam Hale calling. About that partnership Scarlett Moore is coming to discuss today. An hour later, Scarlett called. She was furious, practically screaming. Liam Hale. What is wrong with you? Chairman Grant humiliated Gavin right there in the meeting. Called him a gigolo. A boy toy who sleeps his way to the top. Said Moore Industries only exists because of you. That I'm out chasing other men while you're recovering, ungrateful. Disloyal. You put him up to this. Didn't you? I chuckled softly. Scarlett. I can't control what other people think or say. People have eyes. They can judge for themselves. Gavin couldn't take it and left. The deal's dead. Happy now. Ecstatic. You two made your bed. Now lie in it. I hung up. The anger in my chest eased a little. Later, my assistant texted me. Gavin's humiliation was already all over the company. He'd come back to the office and everyone was whispering about him. People called him arrogant. Scheming, someone who'd used dirty tricks to get ahead with no real talent. Everything on his desk got dumped in the trash. He screamed that he wasn't that kind of person. That they couldn't treat him like this. But nobody at the company cared to listen. Who was going to side with an intern over a vice president? Everyone was kicking him while he was down. I'd seen this 100 times. Gavin had reaped exactly what he'd sown. A nobody intern with no background. No real skills, thinking he could leap to the top just because Scarlett doted on him. Pathetic. Humiliated. Gavin submitted his resignation. Since he'd never been formally onboarded, HR approved it instantly. No questions asked. He'd brought this on himself. Reaching for a position and a woman that were never his. Scarlett had spent hours after the Atlas meeting smoothing things over. When she got back and found Gavin was gone, she was livid. She came home that night to find me putting our son to bed. The little one had chubby cheeks, his nose and eyes were Scarlett's exactly. She stood in the nursery doorway, face thunderous, but kept her voice down anyway. Gavin didn't do anything wrong. He's just a kid who works hard. And because of you, he lost his job and his reputation. Liam, throw your little rich boy tantrum somewhere else. There's a limit. I gestured for her to be quiet, gently setting the sleeping baby down. I stepped out of the room, closed the door, and spoke. Scarlett, I'm telling you one more time. I didn't tell anyone to bully Gavin or force him to quit. I'd told myself it didn't matter. But the anger and disbelief in her eyes still twisted something in me. Ask yourself, how many rules have you broken for that boy? Your encouragement. Your indulgence. You put the idea in his head. There is nothing between us. Scarlett shot back. Heated. Nothing. Then why did you give him something that belonged to me? Why did you let him move into your office? Don't forget, your last secretary couldn't even pull up a chair in there for a quick report. You wouldn't allow it. But for Gavin Pierce, you break every rule. You even snap at your own husband for him. I stepped closer, looking down at her. Every word deliberate. Scarlett, I'll admit I care about you. Otherwise I never would have married you. Never would have had a child with you. But you know me. I don't tolerate betrayal. Not even a little. Not the emotional kind. Not the vague kind. Not the almost kind. If you cross that line, even if it's just in your head, just flirting, just drifting, I won't think twice about finding my son a new mother. Scarlett went pale. She turned and stormed off to the guest bedroom. But I knew that was it. She'd cool off in there. And by morning we'd move past it. That was the rhythm we'd built over 5 years. Though before, our fights had always been about business or family matters. This was the first time it was about another person. And the last. Early the next morning, Scarlett's phone rang. Gavin's name lit up the screen. She hesitated. Then answered. Gavin's voice came through, cracking with tears. Ms. Moore. I don't know what to do anymore. Take it slow. What happened? Scarlett frowned, her voice softening. I'm being cyberbullied. My photos are everywhere. Everyone's calling me a gigolo. Saying I sleep my way up. I'm so scared. I can't even leave the house. His voice shook, terrified. Helpless. I could hear him quietly sobbing. Scarlett's face went dark. She looked at me like she wanted to burn me alive. Stay home. Don't go anywhere. I'll handle this. Word of Gavin crossing me had spread through the whole industry. Even if I never said a word. Business partners would do this on their own. Just to curry favor. I'd seen the online stuff that morning. It wasn't nearly as bad as Gavin was making it sound. But I had to hand it to him, his wounded puppy act had successfully triggered Scarlett's protective instinct. Scarlett exploded the second she hung up. She slammed her phone on. I slammed my coffee mug down just as hard. I wasn't backing down. Scarlett. I told you. I didn't do anything. Everyone at this company knows he crossed you. Who else would do this? I laughed bitterly. Scarlett. In all these years, have I ever done something and denied it? You keep doubting me over some intern. I think he's gotten to your head. Scarlett's face was stone. She turned and walked out, slamming the door behind her. I wiped my mouth slowly, watching her go. Disappointment flickered in my eyes. That afternoon, I was scrolling through social media. All the negative posts about Gavin had vanished. In their place was an official statement from Moore Industries. It said Gavin was an exceptional employee who'd earned his position on merit. Moore would not tolerate malicious rumors about its staff, and would pursue legal action against false accusations online. My phone buzzed with a new message from my assistant. Mr. Hale. Ms. Moore didn't just have legal post the statement. She publicly announced Gavin is coming back as her chief of staff. Same pay grade as a VP. Anyone spreading rumors gets fired immediately. The whole company's talking about it. Everyone thinks there's something going on between them. My chest tightened. Then the assistant sent a screenshot. It was Gavin's latest post. All the workplace drama is Bayhigh. ND me. Quality always wins out in the end. Hard work pays off. Thank you, Ms. Moore, for believing in me. I'll support you every step of the way. I won't let you down. The photo was his new offer letter, chief of staff to the CEO of Moore Industries. VP-level salary. I stared at that disgusting post. Then slammed my phone down hard enough to rattle the desk. Rage burned in my eyes. Not long after, Scarlett came home to grab some files. She didn't even glance at me. She went straight upstairs, took something from the study, and headed for the door. I tapped my fingers on the coffee table and stopped her. "Scarlett, what is this supposed to mean?" She paused and looked at me coldly. "Gavin is a hardworking employee who was targeted by you for no reason. You got him fired. You got him harassed online. I'm fixing your mistake. He deserves this. And if I order you to fire him, try me. I put up with you before out of respect for my husband. I let you abuse your power and hurt people. Not anymore. I'm not sacrificing Gavin. I won't let you keep acting like this." Scarlett turned and left. The door echoed through the whole mansion. That was the moment I gave up on her entirely. 5 years of marriage. 5 years of building something together shattered by a man who'd been in her life for 2 weeks. I sat on the couch. Anger and disappointment tangled together. The glass in my hand shattered under my grip. Blood ran down my palm. I forced myself to breathe, to calm down. If she was going to choose Gavin Pierce, then she'd face the consequences. "Scarlett Moore, you will regret this." My mind made up. I picked up the phone and called my lawyer, Marcus Norton. "Marcus, I need a divorce agreement drafted immediately. Clean asset split. I'm not leaving a penny on the table." Marcus was stunned by the sudden request. He hesitated, carefully confirming. "Mr. Hale, are you sure? Divorce is serious. Now. Today. I want it on my desk in 3 days. Understood. And Ms. Moore, don't tell her. This is my decision." I hung up and opened my laptop, pulling up every business document between Hale and Moore Industries. 5 years of marriage. I'd given Moore so much access, resources, connections. And now I was taking it all back. Then I issued a direct order to Hale Global HQ. Notify all partners. Pause every active project with Moore Industries. Site technical restructuring. Yes, Mr. Hale. The response was crisp. No questions asked. Absolute obedience. That was how Hale operated. Next. The core engineering teams I'd placed at Moore. I sent HR instructions. Double their salaries and recall every single one of them to Hale. My father noticed the flurry of activity and called almost immediately. I answered and got straight to the point. "Dad, I'm divorcing Scarlett Moore." Silence on the line for a moment. Then his voice. "You're certain?" "Absolutely." "Good. I won't ask why. Your mother and I trust your judgment. If you've decided, don't hesitate. Hales don't drag their feet. In 2 days. I pulled everything out. Quietly. Methodically. Funds from my personal accounts were transferred one by one. Scarlett would never touch them again. And she had no idea any of it was happening. Those 2 days. Gavin was all over social media posting photos of himself at business events with Scarlett. New car. New watch. New office. Every caption the same, grateful for Ms. Moore's mentorship. I glanced at it once the first day. Then blocked him. Trash like that wasn't worth my attention. I poured everything into setting up my new company. My phone rang. Scarlett's name on the screen. "Liam. It's my dad's birthday. He wants us at the estate. If you don't want to come, I'll go alone." Her voice was cold. Distant. I glanced at the divorce agreement sitting on my desk. And smiled faintly. "I'll be there." It was time to lay everything out. Time to end this. At 7 that evening. I pulled the Maybach through the gates of the Moore estate. The courtyard was lit up. I could hear laughter from inside. Robert and Eleanor Moore stood at the door with a few relatives, greeting guests. When they saw me get out of the car alone, surprise flickered across their faces. "Liam. Dear, where's Scarlett?" It was a fair question. 5 years of marriage. And we'd never arrived separately before. She said she'd be along shortly. They welcomed me warmly inside. The butler personally brought me a cup of Earl Grey. I sat on the sofa, took the cup, and sipped it calmly. 30 minutes later, the front door opened again. Scarlett had finally arrived. And to everyone's shock, Gavin Pierce was right behind her. Robert Moore's face darkened instantly. Anger flashed in his eyes. "Scarlett, this is a family dinner. What is he doing here?" "Dad. Gavin's my chief of staff. We were working late. I invited him to join us. A family dinner is not company business." Robert's voice rose. "Send him home." Gavin's face fell. He looked at Scarlett. Hurt. It worked like a charm. Scarlett immediately defended him. Dad. Gavin's been working nonstop. He hasn't even eaten. Let him stay. Robert grew angrier. Seeing his daughter so blind. Liam works twice as hard. Has he ever brought his assistant to a family dinner? This is not a corporate event. Butler. Show him out. Robert's order was final. The butler hesitated. Caught in the middle of a family fight. Unsure what to do. Gavin stood behind Scarlett. But his eyes kept darting to me. A faint, defiant smirk on his lips. I'd had enough of this farce. That won't be necessary. I cut through the argument coldly. Pulled a document from my suit pocket. And laid it on the table for everyone to see. I came here for this. When they saw the words divorce agreement printed across the cover, the room went dead silent. Scarlett went white. Her handbag slipped from her grasp and hit the floor with a dull thud. Her voice trembled. Liam. You want a divorce? Have you lost your mind? My gaze moved from Scarlett to Gavin. Then back to her. I've never been more sane. Robert and Eleanor rushed over. Trying to mediate. Liam. Let's talk about this. Whatever the misunderstanding is, didn't do anything rash. There's nothing to talk about. My mind is made up. I won't sign it. Scarlett suddenly cried. Eyes glistening. You're divorcing me because I made Gavin chief of staff. Scarlett. You know exactly why. I looked her dead in the eye. Every word slow and sharp. I warned you. I gave you a chance. I don't give second chances. I already made an exception for you. And you threw it back in my face. If you'd rather step all over your husband for some boy toydn't be surprised when I push back. The room erupted. Scarl, TT wouldn't sign. Wouldn't budge. Eleanor grabbed my arm. Voice pleading. Liam. Please. Calm down. We can work this out. Don't be impulsive. I gently but firmly pulled my arm away. Mrs. Moore. My decision is final. There's no going back. You can refuse to sign. Scarlett. Then we'll see each other in court. I turned and walked out. Leaving chaos behind me. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows. Looking out over the city. For the first time in a long time. I felt light. Jake Parker walked into the office with a fresh report. Mr. Hale. Another 30 more employees submitted applications today. There was barely concealed excitement in his voice. We've poached over 100 core engineers so far. More stock crashed at the open again. Fifth straight day of free fall. Several of their flagship projects are on hold because the talent left. The market's already talking about bankruptcy. I nodded slightly. All of it was exactly as I'd predicted. Without Hale's backing. Without their core engineering team. More Industries was a fish out of water. Gasping. Waiting to die. Oh. And one more thing. Sir. You'll find this amusing. Jake was smiling now. Word is Gavin Pierce stood up in an executive meeting and pitched this whole tech transformation idea. Failed the second it launched. Moore's internal teams are in total chaos over it. I laughed coldly. A liberal arts major telling engineering teams how to do their jobs. Arrogance doesn't even cover it. It was exactly what I'd expected. Gavin was just a pretty face with nothing behind it. No real skills. No business sense. Scarlett had let her judgment cloud over. Handing major company decisions to someone like that. My phone lit up on the desk. Another call from Scarlett. The 15th missed call that day. I blocked her number. I had no interest in her excuses or apologies. No interest in how she was doing. From what I heard. After the stock kept tanking and project after project fell apart. She'd finally come to her senses and fired Gavin. But it was too late. Moore Industries had taken a massive hit. Market cap cut nearly in half. That afternoon. Security called. Mr. Hale. Ms. Moore is in the lobby. She's demanding to see you. Not interested. She says she's not leaving until you do. Security sounded uncomfortable. Then let her stand. Post someone to make sure she doesn't cause a scene. I put the phone down and went back to work. Didn't she get it? It was over. That night, my assistant texted. Scarlett had stood outside the building for 2 hours before security escorted her away. The next day, security called again. This time it was Robert Moore. I thought about it. Then told Jake to send him up. After all these years. Robert and Eleanor had always treated me well. Robert had bloodshot eyes. He looked worn thin. He got straight to the point the second he walked in. Liam. I know Scarlett made a terrible mistake. But she knows that now. Can't you give her another chance? His voice was pleading. Hopeful. Mr. Moore. I respect you. But this can't be undone. I know she messed up. But she's learned her lesson. After all these years as husband and wife. I cut him off. Mr. Moore. You know as well as I do. Some mistakes. Once made. You can't come back from. She fired Gavin. She regrets everything. It was never just about Gavin. Scarlett didn't just disrespect me. She betrayed what we had. I don't tolerate that kind of thing. There's no going back for us. If she doesn't sign the papers, I'll keep pressing more industries until it's gone. Robert's face fell. I understand. I'll talk her into signing. I'll raise the boy. The Moores can visit whenever you like. It pained me to do this to him. But I wouldn't compromise on my principles. I didn't want anything more to do with Scarlett Moore. Robert sighed, nodded, and walked slowly toward the door, shoulders hunched. 3 days later, the signed divorce agreement arrived on my desk. Night fell. I finished the last of my paperwork and got ready to leave. As I walked out of the building, I saw a disheveled figure. Gavin Pierce. Held between two security guards. Clothes rumpled. Hair a mess. When he saw me, he struggled harder. Almost breaking free. Liam Hale. You did this to me. You ruined my career. You ruined everything. I stayed a safe distance away. Looking down at him. Mr. Pierce. I think you're confused about something. You got fired because you weren't good enough. All those strategies of yours. Secondhand garbage you copied off the internet. Full of holes. Gavin's face flushed. Then paled. My words only stoked his rage. I continued. You got to be chief of staff because you played on Scarlett's sympathy. Acted like a victim. That's all you ever were. You're a gigolo. A pretty boy who uses women to get ahead. That's who you are. You lied to your superiors. Embezzled funds. And shook down subordinates for favors. Nobody said anything because you hid behind Scarlett. Because she trusted you and protected you. Isn't that right? Did you think you mattered to me? You're nothing. A gigolo who trades on pity and his looks. You're worse than trash. Gavin went deathly white. I'd hit the nerve. He suddenly broke free and lunged at me. Shut up. I'll kill you. I didn't move. The second he got close, security had him pinned to the ground. I walked over and stepped on his hand. Gavin Pierce. If you ever show your face around me again, you'll regret it. Crushing you would be easier than swatting a fly. Pray I never see you again. Gavin snapped completely. Screaming curses. Liam Hale. You're going to hell for this. Security clamped a hand over his mouth and dragged him away. That night, an anonymous account posted photos of Gavin working at an exclusive upscale nightclub compromising pictures. He was smiling obsequiously. Drinking with a group of older wealthy women. Then security footage of him shoplifting. Chat logs from college where he'd scammed his girlfriend out of money, all of it came out. I never told anyone to do any of it. But there were always people looking to get on Hale's good side. People who wanted Hale Corporation's favor did it on their own. Robert Moore used his influence to blacklist Gavin across the entire industry. Nowhere would hire him. In the end, Gavin went back to that club. Back to what he'd done before. Less than a month later, I heard he'd burned himself out and died of illness. As for me, within 6 months of the divorce, I'd landed 3 major contracts. My company's stock doubled. Business was booming. Business Weekly even named me one of the year's most influential entrepreneurs. Scarlett, with Robert's help, started rebuilding more industries along. Slow road back. She showed up in the business news occasionally. The sharpness was gone from her eyes. She looked worn. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. My company was now a leader in the industry. The eligible bachelor CEO angle made me popular with women. But my heart was in my work and in my son, Henry. I hadn't thought about dating again. Henry was 4 now, bright, energetic. His smile was mine. After the divorce, I made as much time for him as I could. I dropped him off and picked him up from preschool every day myself. I even had a little corner of my office set up just for him, full of toys and drawings, so he could come visit whenever he wanted. Daddy, when's Mommy coming to see me? Henry looked up at me suddenly. Hope in his eyes. I checked the calendar on my phone. The day after tomorrow is your birthday. I'm sure Mommy will bring you a present. Per the divorce agreement, Scarlett could see Henry twice a month. No more than 3 hours each visit. She hadn't missed once in 3 years. No matter how busy she was. She always showed up on time. Always brought carefully chosen gifts. Doing everything she could to make up for not being there. I still had my reservations about Scarlett. But for Henry's sake, I never stopped him from seeing her. In those 3 years, more industries had slowly recovered under Scarlett's leadership. Not what it used to be, but stable. We ran into each other at industry events occasionally. A nod. That was all. On Henry's 4th birthday, I threw a small party at home. His little friends came. And the nanny. In the afternoon, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Scarlett standing there, holding an enormous gift box. Birthday present. I took it and nodded. I'll be back in exactly 3 hours. Scarlett nodded, watching me leave with regret in her eyes. Over those 3 years, she'd tried dozens of ways to hint that she wanted us back together. She'd bring up old memories at business events. Deliberately. She'd linger a few extra minutes after visiting Henry, trying to make conversation. She even had mutual friends pass along messages that she still loved me. That she wanted to start over. I turned her down every time. One way or another. Some things, once broken, stay broken. My life now was good. Successful career. A happy, healthy son. A full, satisfying life. Compared to the marriage I'd left behind, I was freer. Happier.